Hi YouTube, this is Kristen Moonrise. Welcome back to my channel. I am a spiritual and mindset coach, and today I'll talk a bit about what I've learned being an entrepreneur in the first few months of my business. In the future, and hopefully in the near future, I will do a video on why I decided to create a spiritual business in the first place. So definitely stay tuned on that. So, what have I learned? Well, first, if you're into astrology, I just so happened to notice when I looked at the timestamp when I filed Kristen Moonrise LLC with the state of Texas, I plugged it in and I did the natal chart, and I saw that I had filed for the LLC in the eclipse new moon in Aries. So it's got that Aries and Taurus cusp energy. So that was around late April ish. So with Aries energy, it's got that I am fire, headstrong, warrior, no F's given type energy. And you've got the I have earth, abundant wealth, steady, and beauty energy with Taurus. So I think all those energies mixed together, and that's like the top three. It's one fire and two earth signs. I think that really works for a great solid business. But that's all I'll say about astrology today. But as far as me being a few months into my business, I realized that a few months equals years of knowledge in entrepreneurial time. So, what actually brought this idea for me to record this video was a meme that I saw kind of circling around online that was a screenshot from Facebook. And it says, entrepreneurship will uncover every unresolved issue from your childhood. 10,000% facts. So thankfully for me, I already had my dark night of the soul back in 2020 all the way through 2022. So I spent 2 years of extensive self-reflection and going through a whole entire purging season, which I'll get to that in another video. So I've come to the conclusion that entrepreneurship in itself is not hard. What is hard is the inner work that you're forced to do. It's forcing you to become something new. And they say dating is free therapy. And so I would say so is entrepreneurship, although it may not be so free. But entrepreneurship, business, dating, all of it is about relationships and how you are showing up. So one thing I wanted to mention is my education. I have a liberal arts background. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Music. I'm a bassoonist, and I have a minor in philosophy. I also have a Master of Business Administration and a Master of Science in Applied Data Science. I also, last year, I had applied and interviewed for a Doctor of Education in Ethical Leadership program. But as I was in the interview, I realized that was not what I wanted to do anymore. It didn't feel good, didn't feel right. We really weren't matching up when it came to just the feel of things. And I thought about it and I said, you know what? This is a 3 year program, which is short in comparison to PhD programs. But I said, I can do so much in 3 years on my own. I already have an MBA. I have already have leadership skills in the workplace anyway. I don't think I necessarily need that in a doctorate. Although I really, really wanted it, but I decided that I could do so much more in that same amount of time. So what I realized is that with the MBA and with that EDD, that Doctorate of Education program, those programs are to put leaders in existing positions and roles and build teams around them to delegate the task and fulfill the mission. But with entrepreneurship, at least in my personal experience, I was already immediately playing all of the roles. So I was the IT department, I was the accountant, or am that still, drafting the legal documentation, marketing, manager, I'm the secretary, I'm the front end and the back end, I'm the entire thing. So you really are like you're sitting with yourself at a table. So like you're sitting at a round table and you look to the left and right of you, you're looking across from you, and all of it is you. Everybody at the table is you. So you're essentially discussing expectations with yourself back and forth about what this business is, how can you get it to where it needs to be, what are the goals, and that is essentially inner work. So you really have to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are before starting a business, you will certainly find out. So this is also really interesting when it comes to it being a coaching business, as you have to be able to coach yourself before you could ever coach anybody else and have, coaching clients. So I credit this not just to my MBA, but really to my liberal arts education. If it weren't for studying, philosophy and reading all those books and writing all those assessments and really analyzing myself about my thought process, my arguments to certain questions, and then also being a musician where you're sitting with yourself in a practice room, going over and over the music all over again, making sure that everything is clean so you'll be able to have a clean performance on stage. I would not be sane enough to perhaps be an entrepreneur. So the liberal arts is more about who you be, who you are, and not what you do. So although I graduated from the MBA program in 2019, I still wasn't ready to start a business at that point. That was at the time of this video, that was 4 years ago. So I still wasn't ready, and my inner work did not kick in until towards the end of my data science master's degree at the end of 2020, and went through my entire dark night of the soul multiple times in a 2 year period from 2020 through 2022. So I personally have, at this point, have no fear, little to no fear around entrepreneurship, because it just ended up happening. So I was inspired by so many others, listening to other stories, and I felt like I knew I could do it. I had done the inner work around myself, and I knew my limits and bounds. So the natural next step of my inner work journey, my spiritual journey, was starting a business based off of what I already knew and how what I already learned and how I can help others. So the universe essentially knew that it was my time. So if you're nervous about starting a business, it's probably because you feel like you don't quite trust yourself. And it is, but I want to definitely make sure that it's said that it is a rewarding experience even this early on in the game. So there's also another thing that people get tripped up on, which is the entrepreneurship versus job security and stability with having a 9 to 5 or something. But what we see now is that these industries are definitely getting shaken up. They're kind of crumbling. These industries, these systems and structures, they're not what they used to be in the past. So we see a lot of employees and members on strike. We see a lot of random layoffs happening. These businesses do a lot of hiring and letting go, and that's a management problem. And the fact that they, are so short-sighted on when to hire and, what growth is and really projected outcomes, they aren't necessarily always to be trusted. So you have to define for yourself what is stable. So the rate of change is so rapid now. And at the end of the day, all that you have is yourself. So if the urge is within you, it's definitely bound to come out. And it's your responsibility spiritually to share your gift of entrepreneurship with others. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are or experience is about entrepreneurship. And you can definitely check out my website for courses and coaching. I'm constantly updating things. So if you see something if you don't quite see what you like, definitely check back soon, or you can definitely send me an email if you have any questions. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.